Hello there, friends, and welcome to Strangers in the Night, your source for late night VR gaming talk. I am your host, Wes, and with me, as always, is absolutely fucking nobody. I'm here by myself, ladies and gentlemen, and I've already dropped the F bomb in the first 10 seconds of the show. So, yeah, that's how we do it. Monetization gone. We'll just go ahead and lift the ads right now. Yes, Looper, this is an in-depth background. I was just kind of scrolling through some of the ones I haven't used for a while, and I noticed In Death Unchained, so good call. Back again, ladies and gentlemen. Happy to be back again. Here to do another banger of a show for you all. As you all know, it's been a bit of a struggle, with my busy schedule and kind of being a solo pilot these days with no co-pilot. I just kind of get them in where I fit them in, and it's good to be back here on a Saturday night in our usual spot doing our usual stuff. With that said, I know some of you are probably wondering about Game of the Month. We were supposed to do Game of the Month next time we come back on, and we postponed it so that Eric could join because I don't want to do Game of the Month alone. And well, Eric is busy. Apparently, he's too busy to come on tonight. And I basically we were planning on coming on tonight, and then we said, you know what, let's just do a regular show, and we'll come back Tuesday and do the Game of the Month then. And then as the regular show got closer and closer and closer, Eric realized that he wasn't going to be able to make it. So we pivoted at the last minute, and here we are. With that said, rain or shine, come hell or high water, we're doing Game of the Month this coming Tuesday. Eric says if we go on Tuesday instead of Monday, that he'll be able to join. And so we put it on Tuesday. But even if he's not able to make it, we will be back on Tuesday with Game of the Month. I mean, it's already like mid-October. We got to get September done so we can move on. Time is flying, ladies and gents. We're almost to the point where we're going to suspend regular episodes altogether. Probably going to do that a week or two into November. So we have a month at the most left until we take a break. Now, with that said, when I mean take a break, I don't mean that I'm disappearing altogether. Of course not. I mean, I'm taking the time that I would normally put into producing shows and taking that time to prepare for the show, 2024 show that's coming up at the end of December. But we will be back from time to time. Of course, when there's a huge game release, we're going to cover it. We're going to come back and talk about that. And of course, we'll come back and have our regular shows leading into the 2024 show where we talk about nominees and how the voting is going to take place and what all the categories are going to be, all of that. So that's kind of what's on deck for the latter half of November and early December. But yeah, I think this October, the Game of the Month for October will be the last Game of the Month episode for the year until 2024 show rolls around. We might do one for November, but I doubt it. Lots of people been asking about Here They Lie, the annual Here They Lie stream. It is October. Every October, I like to come on the channel, play completely through the PSVR classic horror game Here They Lie in its entirety, and I like to analyze it because it's a very artistic game. It has a lot of underlying meaning to it, and I like to kind of dissect it and break it down. It's such a great piece of work that every time I play it, I discover something that I didn't notice before, and it just adds even more meaning into it. Last year, when we did this stream, we were fortunate enough to have the creator of the game come on for the second half of the stream with us and give us direct commentary. So when I basically started spewing off some of my theories about what the meaning behind some of the stuff in the game is, we had him right there to bounce it off of and see where we were accurate, where maybe we weren't so accurate, and get his take on some of the stuff as well. In addition to that, we had all sorts of developers in the chat that were leaving comments and stuff from the time we started streaming to the time we ended. And to be honest, I mean, that was such a great episode. It's probably, like I've said many times, my favorite thing that I've ever done on YouTube was probably that episode. And I was really struggling with whether or not to do another one this year. I didn't want to do just another regular gameplay and have it kind of bury the better episode in the past. I thought about maybe restreaming the recording from last year and maybe just doing it as a live premiere and chatting with people while we all watched it together. But luckily for all of us, we're not going to have to do that yet. Maybe we'll do that next year. But I'm happy to announce that we are, in fact, doing our Here They live stream live again this year. It will take place in exactly 2 weeks from today on the last Saturday of October. Let me see what the date is for that. October 26th. It'll happen sometime in the afternoon. It won't be like super late. We'll get started on it probably in the late afternoon, early evening time, Eastern time, mid afternoon Pacific time. So obviously this isn't going to be a regular gameplay stream. Like I said before, I wouldn't want to bury last year's episode if I weren't at least able to match it. And we should be able to top it this year because, first of all, the creator's coming back. He's coming back to do commentary again this year. He will be with us from the very start of the gameplay this time versus jumping in halfway through like he did last time. But in addition to that, several members of the game's development team will also be joining us on commentary. So it won't just be me and the creator this time. It's going to be a significant portion of the developer team. We'll probably have 5, 6, or maybe even 7 different developers at different points during the stream, jumping in and out and talking about the game and kind of some of the stuff that went into making it. So yeah, this should be even cooler than last year. And then, you know what? Really, the coolest thing about it all was I didn't even ask them to do it. Like they contacted me and asked me if we were going to do another stream this year, and it just kind of fell into my lap. I was like, yeah, absolutely, we're going to do another stream this year. And they've been super cool. And the more we've talked about it over the course of the last week, the more people from that team that has decided that they want to be involved with it. And it should be a good time. So that's 2 weeks from today, mid-afternoon. I will be putting the show page up sometime this week. So hopefully we can spread the word a little bit. And since we're going in the daytime this time, maybe get a few new eyeballs on it, right? Really continue to build the legend and build the following for this gem of a horror title. Palozic says, can they make a PSVR 2 version? We'll ask them that. We'll ask them that when we have them live on the air here. You know, one big difference between the status of things now versus the way they were a year ago. A year ago, we did not have a Flat to VR Studios. Now we do. So you guys can maybe ask them about 1,000 times in the chat if they want to work with Flat to VR Studios, not only to bring Here They Lie to PSVR 2, but they're also working on a new game right now as well that got announced over the Summer Games Fest in collaboration with Bloomhouse Games. So we'll talk to them about that some as well. I don't know how much they'll be able to tell us about it, because pretty much all that they've given us on the new title is the name of the game, about 3 sentences worth of information about the game, and then 2 or 3 screenshots from it. And that's really all the info that we have on it. So looking forward to asking them more about their studio, their new studio, Eyes Out, and their newest project that was just revealed about 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 months. Anyway, thanks for joining me, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat. We have some really cool games to talk about tonight. Excited to finally get around to tonight's real-time review game, Visage. This is a game that I've tried to mod into VR numerous times, and it works. It has always worked in VR, but the interactions have been so bad in it that I didn't have any fun playing it, because there would be certain items in the game that I wouldn't be able to interact with due to an offset between where you're looking in the game and where the cursor, the invisible cursor, should be. Today was my 3rd attempt trying to get Visage to work properly in VR, and this time I used a uevr profile, and wouldn't you know it, that solved all of my problems with Visage. And now we're going to get to experience this game in VR, and that's awesome. I've never played through Visage before. All I really know about it is when people talk about how Madison VR is the scariest game of all time. The only other game that gets mentioned in the same sentence with it is Visage. People say this game is absolutely terrifying. So we're going to crack the seal on that one together tonight and check it out live at the end of the show. We're also going to take another look at Metal Hellsinger VR. I talked about this game, I think, last week on Without Parole. Brian and I talked about a little bit about the PlayStation VR 2 version of the game. Well, today I had a chance to play the Meta Quest version of the game on my Quest 3. Shout out to Eric for sending me a key. This is something that he wanted to cover on tonight's show. So I'm a man of my word. I'm going to honor that, and we're going to talk a little bit about Metal Hellsinger VR. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the newly released Into Black, which is a game that was announced not that long ago from the Binary Mill, which is the studio that brought us classic games like Rush VR and Gun Club, Mini Motor Racing X, and what was the other one that Binary Mill brought? Resist. So a prolific VR studio bringing a new title, and as they often do, they are doing a completely different title from anything else in their catalog. The reveal trailer kind of blew us away a little bit when they released it. I reached out to friends at Binary Mill immediately after that. They were kind enough to give us kind of the inside scoop about the game and some of its features. And now the game is finally launched on the MetaQuest store, I believe, for $24.99. And I played about 90 minutes of it today, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. Awesome Tatum says, wait, Visage, a uevr game? Yes, indeed it is, and that's how we're going to be playing it on the stream today. Okay, so before we get into any of those games and before I say hello to my friends in chat, I do have one thing that I'd like to do. 2 things. First of all, I'd like to hit this vape. Second of all, I've got a box here that I want to open for you all. Let's see here. This is, I guess I shouldn't put my my address out there. But we have this is a swag box sent to us courtesy of the good people at Oktoberfest. If you all aren't familiar with the game Oktoberfest, the official game, it's on the MetaQuest store now. It's a free to play game that basically recreates the world famous German beer festival, Oktoberfest, in VR. It is a casual multiplayer game, which, as you know, aren't typically my favorite type of game, but I do like this one because, like many of you out there, I have grown up and always been a fan of amusement parks, carnivals, fairgrounds, these sorts of things in real life. I've always liked to do, and even in my adult years, having children, it's something I've always enjoyed taking my children to do. Um, well, this Oktoberfest, this free to play Oktoberfest game, does a tremendous job of recreating that atmosphere. And even though it is like a low poly art style, it works for this game. And the sound design is so great in the game that it actually turns out to be really, really immersive. So if you all haven't checked out the Oktoberfest game on Quest, again, it's 100% free. You should get in there and check it out. We go in as a community. This is a Impact Reality client. We go in as a community every other Friday and do community events. And I'm typically there. Miles Dyer, typically there. Alex VR. We have some other content creators that come in there. The devs, a few of the devs typically show up. And then, of course, community members come in as well. And it's always a great time. The rides are freaking awesome. Well, one of the rides are awesome. They're all good. One I would call awesome. The carnival games they have in there are pretty cool as well. And again, you can get up to 18 people into a lobby at a time. So if you have large groups of friends that like to hang out, this is a good place to do it. They just got an update called Spooktober, where they have lots of Halloween themed costumes that you can buy, and not with real money, of course, with in-game currency, that you can really make your avatar look like a mummy, or they have all sorts of different things in there. And I think next week or the week after, they're going to be opening up a new ride, and that ride will be the roller coaster, Alpina Bahn. So lots of cool new content coming to this game, even though it just launched. They're already putting new content in it. And again, come in there, join us on a Friday, and check it out. I think you'll have a lot of fun. Anyway, let's see what they've got in this box here, as if I didn't already know. There's some cool stuff in here, though, I want to share with you all, and let you see just the cool kind of stuff. By the way, you all can, if you all see this stuff, typically when I open up these boxes, people are like, "Oh man, I really wish I could get that stuff." And normally it's like limited edition stuff that you can't buy, and no one really has a chance to get it. But that's not the case here. You can't buy it. It is limited edition stuff, but you can win this stuff. They're running a Gleam giveaway right now. The grand prize of the giveaway is a MetaQuest 3 headset, which is awesome. But if you don't win the MetaQuest 3 headset, they're also giving away 5 of these boxes for people who didn't win but won second place prize. So I'll try to remember to add that link for the Gleam giveaway in the description afterwards. But if I don't put it there, it'll definitely be on our Discord for those of you that want to enter. And you should, by the way. We do these giveaways all the time at Impact Reality, and the odds are pretty good, man. It's a lot better odds of winning one of these Quest 3s than winning the lottery. I'll tell you that. And and all you have to do is click on it. Click on a few things, and you get your name put in the hat. No purchase necessary. Anyway, we open up the box and it has some nice orange tissue paper in here. Nice presentation already. And awesome. So inside the box itself is a bag, a satchel, if you will. Oktoberfest bag. Pretty cool. I like the design. Of course, it matches the design of the characters in game, so I like it. And we're going to start pulling things out of here and seeing what we have. Now, I know my daughter's going to love this first item that I've got. This is one of the more unique things in this package, and that is the Oktoberfest branded socks. These are socks, ladies and gentlemen, with all sorts of little Oktoberfest icons and characters all over them. My daughter loves these off-the-wall crazy socks. She'll love these. What else do we have? We have some stickers. Shout out to Mr. Tasselhoff. I think Tass ordered up these stickers, if I'm not mistaken, but they're nice high quality sheet of stickers in the box as well. So that's pretty cool. Super thick. It's almost like they're vinyl or something. They're like really thick, high quality stickers. All right, what else do we have? Oh, cool. So we have a set of 4 enamel pins. These are painted pins. These are, I think these are like pewter, some sort of metal with enamel glossy paint on top of it, if I'm not mistaken. They're very nice looking pins. This is a common thing that we get in these boxes a lot of the time, but normally you just get one. So to get a set of 4 like this, pretty awesome. Yeah. All right. Just a couple more items to go here, and then we will move on. Yeah, 2 more items, I do believe. And the first one is my favorite thing out of all of these boxes. The best thing that anyone can ever send to me is t-shirt, ladies and gents. The Oktoberfest t-shirt. There we go. Pretty awesome. Oktoberfest, the official game t-shirt. I love it. Thank you so much. I love getting VR shirts. VR devs out there, if you're watching this, send me your shirt. I will wear it on my show. I'll wear it on other people's shows that I go on. I will promote your game for free and become a billboard, just like I am for Fracked right now. Send me your shirts. I love them. I collect these and I wear them. So thank you very much. Alexander Ritter in the chat says, "Are the devs from Germany?" They are. The studio is based in Munich, and all of the team, every member of the team, live and grew up in Munich as well. So yes, this is a passion project for them. It's something very close to their own hearts because they've all been going to Oktoberfest since they were small children. And this is more than just a generic fairground that's made in VR that they're just slapping the Oktoberfest name on. The attractions and the booths and the rides that are in the game are actual attractions, booths, and rides from the real life Oktoberfest. They're not just making up generic copies. These are the very same ones that you would see on the fairground if you were to visit there. They are official partners with the official Oktoberfest, and they have agreements with many of the individual booth owners in Oktoberfest to have their booths recreated um, faithfully in the game itself. One of the things that I think is really cool is they have all of these booths here in the game, right? Some of them have activities attached to them. Others are just there for show, right? You can't really interact with them. But even the ones that you can't interact with, um, they add to the atmosphere, not just visually, but the dev team actually went out to the real life Oktoberfest and recorded what the sound of each of these booths sounds like. So if you go to, for example, let's say there's a tent that is selling sausages. Maybe if you're standing next to that tent, you would be hearing not only people talking, but you would be hearing sizzling from the sausages cooking. Um, they would have recorded that. And then if you stand next to the sausage tent in the game, you would be hearing those very same sounds as if you were really there. And I think they said they did something like 20 or 25 different individual sound profiles. So as you walk through the fairground and walk past these individual booths, the sound profile you'll walk out of one sound profile and into the next, and it's all spatial audio. So it isn't like there's just one at a time going. They're always going depending upon where you're standing at and what you can hear. But again, the audio design of this is just absolutely fucking phenomenal. What's up, GT? Good to see you, friend. You should join us in Oktoberfest, GT. I know you were busy when we launched the game. Everybody was getting ready for Connect and all of these other things. But this is a fun little casual multiplayer game, and I don't typically even like casual multiplayer. But I've had fun with this one, and I think it's worth a go for those who haven't checked it out yet. Anyway, I have one more item from my swag box to show off, and this is really cool. This is kind of the one unique thing that they put in here that's even more unique than the socks. And I don't know how many of you remember growing up when they used to have these thing called Viewmaster, where you would put these slides into this visor, you hold it up to your eyes, and when you look through it at the light, you would see 3D pictures. There would be actual three-dimensional stereoscopic pictures. And then you can click the little button and it would turn the slide, turn to the next slide, and you would get another 3D picture. And it was always one of my favorite things growing up. I loved looking at the 3D pictures. That, to be honest, that was probably where the very earliest seed of my now love for VR was planted, was in those Viewmasters. I love them so much. But in the Oktoberfest swag box, they put these little cameras in there. And just looking at this, it just looks like it's a toy camera, like a replica. But if you put the thing up to your eye and look through the viewfinder, it's actually got slides in it, like one of those Viewmasters. And I thought you could switch the scene in it. Oh, you can. I found the switch. So it's like a little slideshow. Every time you click this thing here, it brings you through to another piece of key art from the game. Basically, you can scroll through their whole press kit with this thing, basically. But this is a really cool touch, right? It's a tourist camera. So, like, if I was, as an American, if I were to go to Oktoberfest, I would be taking a lot of pictures. And that's the idea with this here, is that this is your camera, and when you put it up to your eyes, you can take pictures, and they're all like in-game pictures and stuff. It's pretty cool little gadget, I guess, for a PR box. Anyway, that's everything in the Oktoberfest PR box. The big thanks to the K5 factory for creating these boxes and sending them out to all of us creators out here. I love getting stuff like that, and I very much appreciate it. All right. Gamertag VR says, do you know who else likes Wesley's seed?
My mom!
That's kind of gross, bro. That's a little gross, I got to admit. Anyways, we got lots to talk about. 2 games, and then we're going to play a third one. Why don't we say hello to our friends in the chat? Echo Into the Future VR. Technically, I still have them, but are a bit broken, but could be repaired. Likely, though. They still sell them. If you're talking about the Viewmaster, oh no, you're talking about stereoscopic 3D glasses for gaming. Makes everything holographic, very cool. Played EverQuest for years from them. You know, that's a great idea. I mean, we have all sorts of 3DOV VR goggles now that I think would kind of do the same thing. But I think, you know, at the right price point, if someone could manufacture a comfortable pair of glasses with a good screen in them for like $100, I think there's a market for that, or there would be a market for that if we still had the drive toward 3D gaming that we once had. You know, back when 3D TVs were on the market, you could play PlayStation 3 games in 3D and a number of PC games as well. If we could get flat games to kind of revive that 3D gaming push, I think a wearable like that would make a lot of sense. Space Dennison is here. Mr. Bean is here as well. Gamertag VR, hello again. Chrome Colossus is here. MC Cantastic. Anyone heard anything out of Anthony? I haven't talked to him in quite some time. Maybe once since he visited us last year and did that episode with us. But I haven't talked to him in quite some time, so probably a good time to check in on him, see how he's doing. Old Darth is here. Chinatown D, what's up? What's up, D? Techno Glitch is here. Hello, hello. Looper the Underground Game Cat is here as well. Fabster is here. Alexander Ritter is here. Philosix is here. VR Spry Guy is here. Happy birthday, Spry Guy. Space Dennison is here. What's up, Boyd? Brondo's here. He says, I had Lederhosen when I was a kid. That's pretty awesome for you. Lesser Logic is here. Does it do beer goggles vision? No, only beer will do that. Well, not only beer, I guess. I suppose liquor would do the same thing as well. Liquor will make you liquor. Bambino Ramos is here. What's up, my friend? What's up? Game Cat Behemoth is here as well. Awesome Tatum in the chat as well. JPEG Q is here. Salvador is here. Lose Reviews in the house as well. Radio Round is here. Says Into Black looks pretty good, or is pretty good. Says Into Black is pretty good. It is, and we're going to get to that in just a few minutes. Who else is here? Rolling up to the top. Lots of repeat commenters. Duggars K is here. Curious Toy is here. Says, hi all. Been playing Into Black. Great game so far. Well, that's the thing, right? The so far. Because, you know, I've only played about 90 minutes of it. I feel like I'm just getting started in it, to be honest. Mr. Lord Beavis is in the chat. What's up, Beavis? Four Wheeling is here. Who else? Anyone else new up in this chat? I don't think so. I think that's as high as I can possibly go. Let's see if we had anybody slip in at the end. Anybody like Josh Taylor slipping in. Hookworm, the Hoosier Game Cat, slipping in as well. Ezek is a slippy as well. And I think that's everyone. So if I missed you, apologies. Thank you for joining. I want to say us, but me. Well, I guess it is us. Thank you for joining us. It's me and it's everyone who I just read off in the chat. Thank you for joining us all here on tonight's episode. Anyways, why don't we get into it and get past all of this tomfoolery and dilly-dallying and talk a little bit about VR. You know, in my lack of a co-host, I'm largely just going to be giving you a few of my impressions of these games. And if you all have questions in the chat, please ask them. If you have questions about any of these games, ask them and I will answer them to the best of my ability. You guys are the co-host, right? Like, I'm coming on here and doing these episodes by myself, and I do have quite a few guest hosts plan to come on during the weeks that Eric can't come, but sometimes I'm not going to be able to get a co-host with me, and it's just going to be me here, which is fine. When that happens, you are the co-host, and I'm counting on you to ask the right questions and say the right things to keep the conversation interesting. So as we get into these games, if you all have any questions about any of this stuff, please put it in the chat. And if I don't see it the first time you ask it, feel free to ask again. Now, let's start off with the game that I already knew quite a bit about, having played it last week on PlayStation VR. And that game is Metal Hellsinger VR. Again, shout out to Eric for providing a key to this one. But shout out to the developers as well, because they did send me a key last week for PlayStation VR 2. This game just hit all major VR gaming platforms. It is a Doom-inspired shooter with a catch, and the catch is that you have to fire or attack on the beat. So this game has an amazing soundtrack full of many well-known metal recording artists. The soundtrack's just awesome. And the hook of the game is it plays just like a Doom game, but you have a multiplier, right? What they want you to do is they want you to attack on the beat. And they do a number of things that that help you stay on beat. It isn't just the music in your ears, but there are things moving and flashing to the beat in the game. So there's a visual cue to help you stay on beat. And then there's the haptics in the controllers that rumble to the beat as well. So it creates this whole synergy between all of your senses, and the object is to attack on beat. Every time that you attack successfully on beat, it adds to your fury meter, which is your multiplier. You start off with just a 1 times multiplier, and you can build that up all the way to a 16 times multiplier. The higher your multiplier is, the more points you score when you attack the enemies. But the points aren't just about the leaderboards. The game does have leaderboards, individual leaderboards for each individual level. But the points aren't just points. The points are also hit points, damage that you're doing to the enemies. So if you get your multiplier up, if you're attacking on beat, you're going to do more damage to the enemies. If you're not playing on beat and you're just going in there willy-nilly and firing or slashing without paying any attention to the music, your attacks are going to do minimal damage, and you're not going to find it to be a very pleasant situation. You're going to get your ass kicked, essentially. So you definitely want to get into the music. You want to feel the music. You want to attack on beat. Keep your multiplier up. There's a number of different tricks the game gives you to keep your multiplier high. Even when there aren't enemies around, there are other things that you can hit or do to keep your multiplier up until you make it into the next arena. But in general, I'm having fun with this game. I basically just went in and replayed all of the levels on Quest today that I played on PSVR 2 last week. So I've barely unlocked half the levels of the game. There aren't a whole lot of levels, as I understand. There's only like 7 or 8 to unlock right now. But there is DLC, I think, coming that will bring further levels to the game. It is a coherent, story-driven campaign, with each level being visually different, having enemies that are somewhat different. There's some okay enemy variety. I would liken it to like a Doom VFR, where you see a lot of the same enemies, but you do get a different one every now and then. And then there's like mini bosses and bosses, and those encounters not only are challenging, but they're the scale and speed of the bosses are pretty spectacular. Pretty awesome thing to take in. But let's talk a little bit now, I guess, about the Quest version and how it stacks up to the PlayStation version. I think that what I would say for that in that context is the basic sort of stuff that you would expect to hear comparing the Quest version to a PlayStation VR 2 version of a game. So while I am playing this on MetaQuest 3, it didn't exactly seem like, how do I put this? It didn't look like Metro. It didn't look like Batman. It didn't look like one of those big budget games that take full advantage of MetaQuest 3. It looks about like what you would expect it to look on standalone. It's not a bad looking game. Definitely does not look anywhere near as good as it does on the PlayStation VR 2. It looked a lot better on VR 2. I haven't tried it on PC, so I can't really speak to that. But it looks okay. Honestly, I think what really I don't think that it's a lack of resolution per se that brings it down, or even like the wallpapering of the textures, which is something you often see in standalone. I don't think that it's any of that. And for what it's worth, the enemy characters look really good. It's just the environments are very shimmery, right? So I think that was kind of what really set the PSVR 2 version apart from the Quest version for me. Is the PSVR 2 version, it was just the text menus that would pop up that had a shimmer to them, whereas in the Quest version, the entire like environment was very, very shimmery and lots of jagged edges. Other than that, it's a good looking game, with above average in terms of character models. The enemy models looked really good. So did the weapon models. It was just the environments being shimmery that really kind of downgraded it a little bit. With that said, I don't know what it was maybe it's my own experience allowing me to be better at the game. Maybe it was my mapping of the beat map in the game. There's a calibration that you do at the beginning to set your audio visual offset. Maybe I had a better audio visual offset session for the Quest version, but the gameplay felt a little bit better on the Quest to me. I was doing better on the Quest, and that could again there could be any number of reasons for that. It could be, you know, more responsiveness with the controllers on the meta version, or it could be any of those things that I just mentioned. It could be my calibration being off on the PSVR 2 version of the game. I would have to play it more on both platforms to definitively say if one plays better than the other. But it felt a little bit better on the Quest, to be honest. So it looked way better on the PlayStation, but it played a little better on the Quest. If you're asking me which one do I go back to, I've played exactly the same amount on both. When I pick it back up, which one will I go back to? It'll probably be the PlayStation version. While it does play a little bit better, and I felt like I was doing better on the Quest version, I'm not convinced that it isn't just anecdotal and maybe just me being better at the game, having played it before. But the entire experience is more polished, it seems, on the PSVR 2 for me. So I will go back to PSVR 2, but I won't hesitate to play it on Quest 3. Like if I'm out, if I'm traveling or something, and you know, I often when I travel, I bring my Quest 3 with me, so I have a library of VR games at any point in time, no matter where I'm at, that I can play. In that scenario, I'm not going to skip over Metal Hellsinger to pick something else. I will absolutely play this game in the Quest 3 and enjoy it. But anyway, overall impressions of the game, a bit better than I expected. My expectations for this game were actually pretty low, not only because it is a rhythm game, and I'm not a big fan of rhythm games, but you know, I read and heard some of the early access critique of the game, people who had demoed it a couple months ahead of launch, and it wasn't great. And I mean, it wasn't horrible, but people in general seemed to be let down by it. Just 6-8 weeks ahead of launch, so that killed most of my hype for the game, and I went into it with what was pretty low expectations. But having now played it, a few times, I can say that it's a fun game. If you like Doom style shooters and you like metal music, it is enjoyable. It's fun to play. My only concern with it is the amount of content in the game. It seems like you're going to be able to play through all of this in like 90 minutes maybe. Now, with that said, obviously there's high replayability factor here, because not only do you have the leaderboards to chase, you not only do you have that, you have all of these different difficulty levels that you can play the different levels on, and each level has its own set of 3 what they call torments, and the torments are like side quests, things that they want you to do when you play through the level, things that they want you to collect, or any number of things. They're like challenges, basically. When you beat a level, you unlock that level's torments, and that is a set of 3 challenges. And if each time you complete one of those challenges, it unlocks a new trait or ability for your character. So while it's true that there are only like 7 or 8 tracks in the game as of right now, there is a pretty high replayability factor here with this one, and it's pretty fun. I would call it slightly above average in terms of fun factor. All right, so that's kind of what I think about Metal Hellsinger VR, and I will now open the floor to questions. If anyone in the chat is curious about this game or has anything that they would like to say about it or ask about it. Looper, the Underground Game Cap, says adaptive trigger implementation is a bit weird in this one. Normally, you should be able to find the resistance point and then push through it to shoot. Here, you shoot as soon as it starts resisting. You can actually push after that, but it doesn't do anything, which is a bit immersion breaking. I didn't notice this, Looper, last week when I played it on the PlayStation. I didn't really notice anything about the adaptive triggers. I didn't notice them being good, bad, or indifferent. I just didn't notice them at all. And that's never good, right? You always want this to be something in a shooter. You want to notice those triggers. It's one of the cooler things about bringing shooters to PSVR 2 are the adaptive triggers. Oldar says the main knock against Hellsinger is that it's very similar to Hellsweeper. Not really. I mean, I guess kind of. I guess the minute to minute gameplay is kind of similar, where you're shooting and slashing and meleeing your way through a level. But I mean, Hellsweeper is arena based, and these are bespoke levels that you travel through. Hellsweeper is like a roguelike, grindy ass game. Where this is more I don't know. I mean, there are unlockables and stuff, but you're not grinding nearly as much. And Hellsweeper has a much like wider variability to the skill tree and things that you can build with your character. Where Hellsinger's a bit more arcadey and simplistic, which honestly is something that I appreciate about it. You know, as much as I like Hellsweeper, I typically avoid playing it. When I'm looking for something to play, I'll hop right over um, Hellsweeper because it's just so involved. It just takes so much time and effort to progress and do anything in that game. I honestly just don't have the time to get good at it. Like I'm okay, but a game like that where you're like doing parkour and stuff, you need to master it to really fully appreciate it. And I just don't have time to master it. I'd rather get into a game like Hellsinger, which I'm not saying at all that it is as good a game as Hellsweeper because it's not. But honestly, in most cases, it's a game I'd rather play. Even though it's not a better game, the other game's better. I think I'd rather play this one most of the time. Looper says, well, if you didn't notice it, it means you may have been shooting earlier than you think you were, which would lead to lower performance. Now, that makes a lot of sense. I never thought about that, but that could be something that definitely led to some of the problems I was having with staying on beat on PlayStation. Old Darth, yeah, in terms of themes and visuals, I meant at a cursory glance when they look. Oh yeah, it is a very similar. It is a very similar aesthetic. I will give you that. Um, sure, yeah. But with that said, they both ripped it off from Doom. No, I'm just joking. Um, Chinatown D in the chat says, I have it on PC if you want to try it. Maybe I will. But I don't know if I want to start over, honestly. Um, I might do it like at a like much later time. Like after I finished it on PlayStation VR 2, um, I might go out of curiosity and see what it's like on Steam. I wonder if it's on Rift. Does anyone know if this title supports cross-buy? If it supports cross-buy, then I already have it on PC. I can just pick it up on Rift. Um, why don't I go take a look and see? Click on browse all games. Da 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 da. Go to link PCVR. Open up, you bad bitch. Let's go to new releases. Do we have any new releases on PCVR? Their Rift. Oh, they don't have a page. It doesn't say. Oh, there it is. New releases. Nope. There are two. There are only two new releases on Oculus Rift. There is the Curriculum demo. It's free. It's a free demo. And then there is a game, a $25 game called BLR80. BLR80. And I'm going to click in and see what this BLR80 is. This is an action adventure shooter. You get 23 minutes to stop the OJI Corporation from rendering the inhabitants of Bangalore incapable of conscious thought. Okay, so in 23 minutes, the corporation is going to do something that renders people incapable of thinking things consciously. It's going to turn them into zombies, basically. Track, blast, slash, and tear apart relentless killing machines that get in your way. Remember, you only get 23 minutes. I'm watching the trailer, and it looks weird, as you might have guessed. Oh man, it's the lowest of low poly. And for what it's worth, the environments actually don't look that bad. Anyway, I'm not going to dick around on this. It's called BLR80. Check it out. Those of you who are interested at what I was just looking at. Technical Glitch says I played it, best ever. It was great. Huh. Well, wouldn't you know it? Awesome Tatum says favorite metal track on there. Again, I've only played through 3 of them. And I'm not familiar with the song titles. I think one of the better ones I've heard was from the singer of Arch Enemy. Yeah, I don't know what the name of the track is, but that was one of the better ones from the early tracks that they unlocked. Looper, having Blur in a VR game title isn't a wise choice. I didn't even notice it, but you're absolutely right about that. What's up, Mark Pringlesleaf? All right, last call for Metal Hellsinger VR questions. It is a recommend from me. No matter which platform that you're playing on, it is fun. How much did the thing cost? That's another question. I don't know if I would pay $30 for it. This seems more like a $25 game to me. Let me see how much it costs. Give me just a sec. Go to the games, bitch. New releases. Chicken check. Looks like Undead Citadel's about to come out. Which is cool. Good for Quest gamers out there. Now that's something that actually does look really good from the footage that they're showing. Now you get in the headset, it could be a shimmery mess as well. But the Quest 3 footage I've seen of Undead Citadel looks really good. Oh, of course, I've got to open it up in a private window to get the price because I already have it in my library. Private window, paste and go. $29.99. All right, so that's a borderline too expensive. I would. I mean, I think it's a $25 game. I enjoyed it. I think $30 is a little too much for it at its current level of content. Now, if they're saying they're gonna add a few more songs in for free, then sure, go for 30. But what I would do, honestly, if you're gonna pick this up on Quest, get an app referral, and I can send one to you. I can post it in the Discord for anyone who needs it. Just tag me on the Virtual Strangers Discord. There's an invitation in the description below. And anybody that wants a discount, I'll hook you up with a 15% discount code for the game. Otherwise, wait for it to go on sale. All right, let's see if we had any more questions about Metal Hellsinger on MetaQuest. Okay. Off topic thoughts on the immersed new eye tracking video released today. Seriously, what a shit show with that company. Such a disappointment. I didn't see it. I noticed that they did have some new marketing stuff go out on socials today, but I didn't care. I didn't care enough to stop and actually look at it. So I really don't have any thoughts on it. But yeah, it is a little bit of a shit show, to be honest. Old Darth, really love the layout of the hub world. Levels as record albums, options as books. Well done. Yeah, I agree. And man, kudos to the devs for giving the player so many options. Like there is literally a library of books. Each book is its own section of options, and they really give you a lot in each one. So kudos to the devs there. Something else I really liked about the hub world was the way that they did the cutscenes. Now they are 2D cutscenes. I wish they had been 3D cutscenes. But again, this is an adaptation of a 2D game. This is a flat game coming into VR. And if you're going to do your flat cut screens inside of a VR headset, typically what developers do is they'll just put a fucking floating square on your screen and make you watch it that way, which kind of sucks. What these devs did is they built like a fucking theater in the hub world, that it isn't like a screen per se that you're looking at, but kind of like this square shaped cave that you look into, and inside that the cutscenes playing. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah, and the weapon wall also really cool. The way that you can adjust your loadout. So I agree. The hub world was very well done. Old Darth, I agree with that. Looper asks, where the heck is the PSVR 2 version? Were you talking about Hellsinger? I mean, it's out now, right? Wait a minute. I thought it came out with Max Mustard the other day. He must be asking about a different game, not Metal Hellsinger. Let's see here. PSVR 2 releases. We're going to start at newest and move to old. And Metal Hellsinger VR, there it is. Add to cart. Yeah, it's out. He must have been talking about a different game. PSVR 2 version is on the store as of the 3rd of October. So yeah. Don't know what that was on about. Undead Citadel. Oh, yeah. That'll be next year on that, Looper. Sorry about that, but obviously these devs having launched the game on Steam already. They need money, and I'm sure they got a little bit from Steam, but the only place where devs can make any real money is on the Quest store. So I kind of get why they didn't go straight from Steam to PSVR 2. Honestly, though, I would have preferred that they started on PSVR 2, went to Quest next, and then hit Steam. But it is what it is. We'll have to wait. I have no doubt it'll be good when it comes. But I don't know how many people will care about it when it comes, because people are already starting to lose interest. We've been hearing about this game for so long. It's literally becoming like Golem was during the PSVR 1, where we were literally waiting for that game for like 5 years before it finally launched. Anyway, I digress. We move along from Metal Hellsinger into kind of the game of the week for us here. One we've been looking forward to for quite some time, and that is Into Black. Into Black is the latest title from veteran VR development studio, The Binary Mill. You may know The Binary Mill from their other titles like Gun Club VR, Rush VR, Mini Motor Racing X, and Resist, which was Spider-Man with guns. No, just kidding. Which was an awesome story-based grapple shooter set in an urban environment. I felt like Resist was their best work, and Resist was a few years ago when it came out. And basically, you can tell that they've been busy during that few years, as Into Black is continuing their trend. You know, the trend for the last God knows how long with the Binary Mill is that they continue to improve as a studio, but not only are they improving in terms of their technical ability as developers, but they are giving us a different game every time. Every time they come out with a new release, it is something very, very different from the one before. So where you often see studios that will improve one game to the next, one generation to the next, but all of their games kind of follow a similar structure and similar gameplay loop. That's not what we get with the Binary Mill. With the Binary Mill, not only are they improving significantly in terms of the scope of their games and how well the UI works and just all these little things that tie in, but from one game to the next, it's just a completely different genre and completely different type of game. So a big thank you and shout out to the good people at Binary Mill for providing us with review access to this game, Into Black. This game is available now exclusively on Quest. I think this is a $25 game. Give me just a moment while I verify that. But just allow me to say that whether it costs 25 or not, this is a $30+ game, maybe more. This is a very high quality experience in VR, as we're about to talk about. A very polished, well done, deep game, which is what we had hoped. When this game got revealed just a few weeks ago, we were so blown away by the trailer that I reached out to my contacts at the Binary Mill, and they were cool enough to provide us with some inside information, if you will, about the game. And from that episode on, we've been super pumped about it because we could tell by what they were saying to us that not only is this going to be a very deep game, but it's going to be a game that you can kind of play at your own pace, the way that you want to play. If you're a slow, deliberate, single player, um, gamer, then you can absolutely do that. If you're a fast paced, run and gun, don't really dwell too much on any one thing, multiplayer guy, so you like to bring in your friends and go fast and hard, um, you can do that too. This game offers up a co-op mode that I think may even support up to 4 total players. Let me verify that. I know you can play at least 2, um, but their store page isn't showing me much here. So yeah, maybe someone in the chat can share how many players can play this game at once. But what you have essentially here is you have a story-based uh, extraction shooter, sci-fi extraction shooter. It's like a sci-fi action adventure. If I had to compare it to another game, I would compare this to like a Deep Rock Galactic. Now, I haven't played a ton of Deep Rock Galactic, so don't start picking apart that statement on me if there are some key differences here. But basically, through what I've played, and the game again could pivot dramatically by the time it finishes. I've only played about 90 minutes or so of the game. I've played through, I think, 2 missions. I'm sure there are many more to come, and that the scope and direction of the game is going to change significantly at some point. But as of right now, uh, the type of game that you've got here is you're crash landed on this planet. Uh, you need to repair your ship so that you can fly out of the system and be on your way. But your ship is badly damaged, so you need resources to repair it. So basically, you're leaving out from your ship and you're going on runs to gather resources. And it isn't like collecting things off the ground. You're not going out to find boxes of ammo and scraps laying around. Basically, you're going out No Man's Sky style and mining for minerals and picking up um, organic plants and things. So you'll see like mushrooms or something. You'll collect those, or some other sorts of like weird eggs, or some like I don't know. There's a wide variety of organic, what appears to be plant and animal life that you can collect resources from. And then there are minerals scattered everywhere, some of which are easy to reach. And you just take your pickaxe and literally break them up and collect them that way. Others are not so easy to reach. You might see a shimmer in the top of a cave wall, like hundreds of feet above your head. And for those minerals, you do have a mining laser, a beam that you can shoot up and break that stuff out. But basically, the structure of the game so far is you play through bits of story on the ship, and the story puts in front of you some item or something that needs to be fabricated or repaired, and then you thus leave the ship and embark on your adventure of collecting whatever resources that you need to collect whatever the thing is that you're going to be working on. So again, it's this same type of extraction, grindy, uh, campaign that has become very popular in recent years. With the one big major difference for me with this game versus those games is that this one is giving me actively a story with objectives. And that is the hugest thing for me. Like, I can actually have fun doing something like this now because I feel like I'm progressing something, that I'm doing something. It isn't just about gathering resources, hoarding them, and trying to fend off other people when they try to steal them, which is how most of these extraction type games are structured these days. This is, I would say that this game, while it's set up very similar to those extraction shooters, um, I would say it's more like No Man's Sky than like Astro Hunters or Ghost of Tabor. Um, so yeah. Another big difference between this and a game like No Man's Sky are the enemies. There are enemies that you can encounter in this game, and there's quite a lot of them. Um, you do find a pistol pretty early on, so you don't just have mining equipment that you're attacking with. You do have actual firearms, and from what I can tell, there is no like ammo, at least not for the pistol. So basically, your fire's unlimited, but you have to watch for it to overheat. But when it does overheat, there is a quick reload. So like, it's very similar to what you see in Returnal. After you overheat, there's like a heat gauge. If you can catch it directly in the center and do a quick button press, it'll cut the cooldown time in half. Major T joining us in chat. What's up, friend? For those of you who were wondering, I did verify that the price of this game is $24.99 on the Quest Store, which is, at least it seems at this early hour, to be a very, very good price for this game. This game seems to be of exceptional quality so far. And when I talk about exceptional quality, it isn't just, the graphics. The graphics, they look good. You can still tell you're in a Quest game, though. Again, like much like the last title, I'm going to say, this ain't Batman. This ain't Metro. This is a Quest 2 game. You can tell that that this game at least was developed with Quest 2 in mind. And I'm not sure if it's available for Quest 2 players or not. I would suspect it is, though, by how it looks. Not saying that it looks bad. It looks actually a lot better than Metal Hellsinger VR. All of that aliasing that we saw in Metal Hellsinger, you don't get nearly as much of that here in this. Not only that, but I really like the art style in Into Black. So it does have this kind of comic booky aesthetic, but it isn't cel shaded, and it isn't like a strict comic book style art style either. There's a little bit of that to it. It has a little bit of that flavor in it, but they also use a lot of like baked lighting and and reflective surfaces to make the environments more realistic and immersive. So while it isn't what I would call photo real by any means, I would say that I wouldn't call it cartoony either. I would say that it's like a firm in between. It's like a realistic cartoon style, and it looks really good and it works really well for this game. Um, Another thing this game does really well visually is scale. Giant enemies, giant caves to explore, um, pretty far draw distances, like you can see, pretty good spot ahead of you. Um, so yeah, yeah, it's just a really good looking game. Um, so what else? We talked a little bit about the gameplay, but you know, the minute to minute shooting and mining isn't what really makes this fun. It is the exploring to an extent. Um, and as you explore, you uncover more about the game and its systems. I think the thing that really impressed me most about this game is just how detailed and expansive the game systems are. There's an extensive system of upgrading for your character and like your weapons and stuff. Um, it's done through schematics, to give yourself any kind of augment or upgrade anything on your person or in your collection. You have to first have a schematic. You can find these schematics in chests that are strategically hidden throughout the maps, or every now and then you'll pick one up by defeating uh, like a boss. Um, Once you have the schematics, though, you can start to unlock any number of crazy equipment that will help resolve different aspects of your development. Um, yeah, I lost my train of thought here. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I need a drink. Hold on. The moral of the story is that it's got a pretty deep gameplay loop with lots of opportunity to craft new weapons and abilities. Now, as far as like cold hard XP leveling and like a leveling tree, I haven't really made it far enough into the game to see if there's anything like that. Um, from what I can tell so far, all of the progression that I've done has been through collection and grinding to collect items from the cave. I don't know if their XP plays into it at all. Um, Maybe it does. Maybe they tell you that, and maybe I overlooked it. Um, but it seems plenty deep enough as it is. I wouldn't want it to get too crazy with the progression systems, because when that happens, you end up with a game like No Man's Sky. So essentially, what we have here is what I kind of had wished No Man's Sky would be, right? Because I think they've got the type of gameplay that No Man's Sky should have had. They've got the type of story campaign structure that No Man's Sky should have had. Um, but No Man's Sky obviously is going to trump it by orders of magnitude in terms of visuals, in terms of scope, um, and things like that. So yeah, it's a it's a great game. What am I forgetting about here? I know a number of people in the chat have played it. Did anyone ever confirm how many players can play this at once? Let me scroll up here and see. Is it 2 or is it 4? Or is it 3? Or is it 2.5? Is it 6.5? I don't know, but hopefully someone will tell me. Soon enough. Yep, 4 people says Chi-Town D. She also says I've heard Deep Rock and DOE comparisons. Yeah, I would say Deep Rock Galactic meets No Man's Sky here. It's quite similar to what I remember Deep Rock being like, although I didn't play a lot of Deep Rock Galactic. But yeah, it's like it's very reminiscent of No Man's Sky, but I'm right now enjoying it more than No Man's Sky because I don't have to just sit and constantly craft like No Man's Sky. It's just like crafting components and putting those components together to make more components, and then finally putting those components together to make the item that you need to fix the one thing so that you can craft more components. And it's so grindy and painful to play that game, um, which saddens me because it's such a big, beautiful, technical marvel, that universe. Um, it, it's um, it's it's a waste, right? When you think about what they could do with the No Man's Sky system and the universe that they've built out, it's a waste that they haven't given us an epic length story campaign for that. I mean, that universe deserves a 25-hour story to be told in it, but that's not what they're doing. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much about No Man's Sky right now. Into Black is the topic at hand. I'm going to take some questions and comments from the chat before we move on. But just before I finish up, I want to say that I am thoroughly enjoying this game. This is a high quality game for a standalone. Now you can still graphically tell that it is a standalone game, but it looks good. The art style saves it, and the gameplay is exceptionally good. I don't think you'll find any other games like this. I mean, there are some games that are vaguely like it. I mean, we have mentioned those games, but nothing quite like it on the Quest store. It's very unique. $24.99 is the price. I think that it is underpriced. I think this is a $30 game or more, depending on how long the campaign turns out to be. But even if it's just a moderately 5 to 6 hour campaign right now, I think it's a $30 game. So pick it up at its price. Of course, if you'd like to get it a little bit less, tag me, and we will. I can create a referral link to get you an extra like 10 or 15% off or something. So yeah, tag me up on the Discord. The invitation link is in the description below. Anyway, let's take a look at chat here and see what they have to say before we move on to our real-time review. Curious Toy says 4-player co-op. Thank you, Curious Toy. You know who else has Curious Toys?
My mom!
Yes, she does.
My mom!
Yes, she does. 16 in PvP. So I think there's a PvP mode and there's a PvPvE mode. Like most extraction shooters, you can do that stuff in here as well, which I'm fine with. I know people love that shit. I don't like playing and collecting just for the sake of collecting. I love collecting. I love exploring, but I need there to be the big event that we're preparing for. That I have to have that. Otherwise, it just feels like a half a game, like a piece of game. So, is what it is. Barglesoft says, "Morning, folks. No, often I'm up at 7:45 a.m. on a Sunday. No, often that I am up this late on a Saturday anymore. So, thank you for waking up and stopping by. Have a good morning." Do we have any more comments on Into Black? Echo into the Future says, I'm going to have to watch the rest of the show tomorrow. I'm out of steam. I played a lot of In Debt today, and I am aching in the good way from working out. Night, folks. Good night, Eco. See you tomorrow, sir. All right. Let's see. Significant quality of life update coming to Into Black tomorrow. Well, that is interesting to know. I was not aware of that. I had been reading about another game, Metamorphosis. Apparently, that was actually going to be the game that I covered here tonight. Was going to be Metamorphosis because I've so been looking forward to it. But apparently, according to many of the reviews, it launched too early, and they're now kind of scrambling to patch it up and make it all better. So we're going to hold off on Metamorphosis until they get those patches out. It sounds like the things that people are flagging with the game aren't going to be like super labor intensive to fix. It's all pretty basic stuff that they should be able to work through fairly quickly. So hopefully by the time we have to do Game of the Month for October, we will have finished that up. All right. 10 to 12 hours to completion, says Curious Toy. That would be great. Old Art says Metamorphosis is pretty buggy. Yeah, I so see the potential with that game that I don't want to ruin it for myself by going in too quickly. So I'm going to wait as long as I possibly fucking can to get into it. Just like I did this month for Hitman VR Reloaded. And we're going to talk about that on Tuesday. So tune in to hear what we thought about that, as well as all the other notable releases that came out in September. Let's see here. Any other questions about this game? Looks like people are getting their questions answered pretty well. All right. Well, I think Major T says, sorry if you've already mentioned this, but is it Deep Rock Galactic in VR, and is it coming to PSVR 2? I don't know if I asked about PSVR 2. I did ask a lot of questions. Give me just a minute and I'll go back through kind of what they told me. I know it's not officially coming to PSVR 2. But typically the way these things go is a lot of it depends on how it sells on Quest. When you're talking about independent developers that aren't like getting direct funding from Meta or Sony or some other third party investor, the way the system typically works is you launch on Quest first. That is where your potential to make money is. And if you make significant money on the Quest platform, then you reinvest that money into your game, providing further development for the game, to bring DLC, to bring quality of life updates, and to port the game to other platforms like Steam and PlayStation VR 2. This is the standard approach that most developers take for obvious reasons. So I imagine that that's going to be the case here, no matter what they say. The Binary Mill brought their early stuff to PlayStation VR 1. They may have even brought the Gun Club to PSVR 2, if I'm not mistaken about it. But they never, I don't think they ever brought Resist over. which again, as I mentioned before, was their best game before Into Black. Um, I would love to see the original Rush come to PSVR 2. It's such a great game. I think a modern or even a sequel or like a 1.5, like Rush Deluxe Edition, where maybe they add they remaster all of the old maps in it, and then they add a new mountain with like three new courses on it or something like that. I think that would be great, and I think they could sell that as a new game, and people would buy it like hotcakes. Hey, what was I looking for? I come out here to find something. I got sidetracked. Oh yeah, I was going to look through my Into Black dev notes to see if I could find anything about PlayStation VR, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Let's see here. Single player, story driven sci fi thriller, more action than adventure, quite a bit of humor in the game, single player or co op. Play through the entire game with up to 4 players, and it's drop in, drop out co op. No need to be locked into a co op playthrough. So people can come in and out at will, which is awesome. Um, Campaign, yes, yes. Action with the story. Yeah. It's not much stealth. There are scary areas, but I wouldn't call it a scary game. Uh, Not too fast, not too slow. It's slow traveling, but it picks up quickly in certain sequences and periods where you're attacked. Mm-hmm. We have progression systems. You can upgrade your weapons, tools, and character abilities. And no procedural levels. The hands are all the levels are all hand crafted. All right. Yeah. So nothing in my original conversation with the developers about PSVR 2. But I think the situation that I described to you a moment ago, that applies to 99% of independent VR game developers, and I'm sure it's going to apply here as well. All right. Nathan says Into Black is a must buy, and I'm almost there too. I think that at $25, and even less with the referral code, uh, it's definitely worth the price of admission. It's a better game than Metal Hellsinger that we talked about a minute ago, which I called an above average game. This is a good game. It's a quite good game. Now, how good? I have to play more to find out. Does it keep its fun throughout the campaign, or does it get repetitive and boring after a while? Um, Only time will tell, but I'm looking forward to spending that time. But I would very comfortably class this as an 8 to 8.5 out of 10 right now. I think it's a solid above average VR game. This is good. Any other questions or comments on Into Black before we get to this week's real time review? Let's see here. People talking about Metamorphosis being buggy. Yeah, it is unfortunate, but I'm confident they'll figure it out. I think Don't quote me on this, but I want to say that that might be a first time VR dev. So let's just bear with them a little bit. Nathan says that he is 6 hours into Black and it keeps getting better. That is what I like to hear. And it's one of the more regrettable things about how we go about covering games on this channel, because we very rarely do full gameplay reviews. We just don't have time to put that kind of gameplay into most of these. But it hurts in situations like this where now the game's covered, right? We've done our segment on Into Black. Now we're moving on. And I feel like I need to play more. Like I want to play the game more. And yes, we will be talking about it again in roughly 3 weeks when we do the Game of the Month episode for October. Yeah. I keep losing my train of thought, so we probably should be moving quite along. So yeah, highly recommend Into Black. Whether you're playing by yourself or playing with friends, it's a good time for $25. Do you know who else will give you a good time for $25?
My mom!
Yes, she absolutely will. All right, so that concludes the impressions portion of this week's episode, and we move on to our live gameplay, or as we like to call it, the real-time review. Nathan says some of the best Quest 3 graphics yet. Yeah, I mean, it looks really good. It's difficult to explain how it looks in the headset. It's this weird in between cartoony and realistic graphics. But they use enough smoke and mirrors to really make it pop out and look and feel pretty immersive. So I don't know. I would call it one of the best in the Quest 3 catalog, but it's certainly very good looking game. All right, so now it's time for us to switch over. For those of you who are new to the channel and don't understand what's happening here, we are about to do what I like to call a real-time review, which is basically just a gameplay stream. We're going, we've been in this podcast format now, sitting here in front of a camera talking directly to you all for just shy of 2 hours. We're not going to end the episode, though. We're not going to stop. During this podcast, we're going to just switch over to live gameplay, and I'm going to continue to talk to you all in the chat while I play a game. And this week, we picked a good one because it is October, it is spooky month, and I want to play a high quality, very scary horror game, and I don't think I could have picked a better title to fill all of those criteria than Visage. But Visage is a flat game, and this is a VR channel, you might be saying. Yes, Visage is a flat game, but Visage is a Unreal Engine 4 game, which means we can use the Unreal Engine VR detector. We can use the universal uevr mod to inject 3D into the game and play it in full VR. This specific game, using the profile that I'm using, you don't have to use a standard gamepad. You can use your controllers, your motion controllers, but you don't have hands in the game. Basically, button press interactions. You will stare at something that you want to interact with, and you'll be prompted with a visual that tells you to press A or whatever to interact with whatever it is you're looking at. Light switches, drawers, these sorts of things. A lot of it. The game was broken for the longest time. When you would try to play it in VR, the cursor in the game would not be in the center of your vision, making it nearly impossible to play this game because interacting with light bulbs and light switches is actually very important to whether or not you live or die in this game. So you have to be quick, there can't be much jank, and it wasn't playable. Now, with the use of the profile, and I don't even remember which profile this is, I literally downloaded this profile 2 or 3 months ago. So I don't remember which one it was, but I do have it and I can share it. So those of you who are interested in playing this game in VR, again, tag me on Discord. There's an invitation in the description down below. Just tag me in there and I will drop you this profile so that you can have your issues corrected as well. Not only did I load a profile in for this build of Visage, but I also modded the game further with what they call the crosshair mod. So with the crosshair mod, I now have the option, if I want, to put a visible icon in the center of my field of view so I can see exactly where the in-game cursor is. The ironic thing is that I don't really need it anymore now because the gaze based the profile aligns the gaze based up perfectly, so I don't need the crosshair anymore. But I downloaded two potential options, and I only needed the first one, which is good. Anyway, as I was saying, we're moving off of the podcast portion into live gameplay. I do need a few minutes to set up. It will probably take me 5 to 10 minutes to get fully switched over and into my headset and the game up and everything going. I'm also going to go to the bathroom, full disclosure. But I'm not going to leave you guys high and dry, just sitting here waiting on me to get back. But rather, what I'm going to do is play for you with sound and commentary the Into Black video that you're watching in the background right now. The fact of the matter is that this video that you're watching in the background is something that I recorded exclusively for members of the Virtual Strangers Patreon. I feel just so terrible that I haven't really been as active with the Patreon over the course of the last 3 or 4 weeks since Roots left. I mean, used to these people were getting show notes and all of the extras that we gave away for so many years for their contributions. But it seems like since Roots left and I'm not doing the cutting room floor anymore, then we don't have the show notes. I'm barely even doing numbered episodes to begin with. So when I think about that, it bothers me that I'm not giving these people anything for their contribution other than just showing up here when I can and putting on the best episodes that I can. So so I recorded this video for them today. Again, it's almost a 90-minute gameplay video with commentary. It's just like I would have made the video for the channel, only this one is going to be exclusive for our Patreon members. But those of you who are watching this episode are indeed lucky because you're going to get to catch the first 10 minutes or so of the video right now while I go to set up Visage and Yeah. Old Darth wants to know, is Roots gone for good or is he taking a break? Well, he's definitely taking a break. Is he gone for good? He's gone indefinitely. Um, I know that he's at least going to be back for the 2024 show. So he told me, and he gave me his word on that, that like he's taking a break until he can genuinely feel excited for VR again. Because anybody that has watched our show over the last few months, and especially people that have been in the Discord, it's impossible to have missed the fact that Roots just really doesn't like playing VR anymore. And it's kind of hard to be a host of a VR podcast when you don't like playing VR games anymore. And it isn't that he doesn't want to play VR anymore. He doesn't want to hear people talk about VR anymore. He's unsubscribed to all the VR YouTube channels that he was subscribed to. He's left all of the Discord channels that he was subscribed to. He's completely disconnected himself from VR. And what are the reasons for that? I mean, we only have theories, right? Um, People themselves don't always understand why exactly they feel the way they feel about certain things. So I wouldn't dare to presume to try to psychoanalyze Roots, especially in public here on during an episode. Uh, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter why. All that matters is that Roots does not like to talk about VR. He doesn't like to hear about VR. He doesn't want to play VR. He's done for a while until that passion comes back organically, which it very well could once he has some real time away. I can't imagine just completely walking away from it. Like, that's crazy after donating all those years, you know. But the Roots will be back for the 2024 show. What happens after that is anybody's guess. Um, but no matter what happens with Roots, um, I've made you all a promise many years ago, and I said that as long that it doesn't even matter. I said that it doesn't matter if we ever even get another subscriber. If we stay with exactly the community that I have right now, and all of you that show up to the shows continue showing up to the shows, I will keep doing them. People, our community is something to be proud of. Um, I mean, we have a lot of people. I mean, it's not a lot by other channel standards, but in terms of just in general, we've got hundreds of people in our channel. We've probably got about 100 or so core community members. Um, and we're all very different from one another. Like, we're all very different from one another. We have very different worldviews. We come from different places all over the world. But we have this thing in common, or we came together because of the thing that we have in common. And now that we are together, we have something else in common, and that is this community. And everyone contributes in their own way, whether that be, you know, setting up multiplayer games, or like Spry Guy does the timestamps, or does the audio podcast. We have people that donate money. We have people in our Discord that just hang out there and give people advice that are having problems troubleshooting some issue. Everyone gives what they can because they care about one another and they care about the technology. Um, So I'm kind of getting off on a rant here, but the moral of the story and where I was going from this all along is that as long as you all still care about me, as long as you all still want to hear me talk about VR, and as long as I can still draw breath and come here each week and do this, I will do it. If someone leaves to end this channel, it won't be me. It'll be you. Um, as long as you all continue to care, I promised you all years ago that I would keep doing the episodes, and I have every intention on keeping that promise. I do hope Roots comes back, but if Roots doesn't come back, we will be all right. Um, Eric's still here whenever he has time. And when he doesn't have time, we have a number of good friends that could come on and co-host. You know, we've got the whole VR Crewcast crew that could individually come on. You know, whether it be um, Gamertag VR or Alex VR or Skiva or hell, even Eric and Todd. Um, any of those guys could come on at any time. Yeah, there are others too. AJ and you know, we have Miles. I mean, we're gonna have co-hosts. Is the moral of the story? We'll just kind of keep people floating in and out, depending on who makes sense for whatever it is that we're covering specifically each week. But even if we don't, you know, have you guys enjoyed the show so far here today? This has been a one man gang today, and it wasn't even intended to go this way. Like Eric was supposed to be on this one, so like um, I kind of had to pivot, but I think that it's gone all right. So um, yeah, so we're gonna be fine. It doesn't matter. We want Roots to come back, but it doesn't matter if he doesn't. Old Darth volunteering to be a feeling, and yeah, and to be honest, a lot of people have. A lot of people have offered to fill in, um, and I appreciate that. And I'm glad to have any of you on, honestly. But um, I want to be careful about it. I don't want the show to lose its identity and become something else. You know, it's not ever going to be matinee happy hour here where people are coming in on a swinging door every week, and I want the end product to be very similar and homogenous. I want people to know when they tune in what they're tuning into. So while I'm certainly open to having just about anybody on as a guest host, um, I don't want to do it week after week after week, and I would like there to be some kind of rhyme or reason to the host that I'm bringing in, right? Like if I'm going to be talking about doing an episode on uevr, I would want to bring in Elliot Tate or maybe even AJ to do that episode, right? Stuff like that. If I'm talking about hardware, I want to bring Brad in. Um, yeah. If I'm talking about so and so's favorite game, maybe I have them on to talk about it. So on and so forth. It needs to make sense. Make it make sense. Anyways, thank you, Hooked Worm. Everyone giving me compliments now that I asked them. So, yeah. Black Market Honey is joining us from rainy Sweden. Thank you for joining us. Smash Fuller with the $10. I think that's Australian. Says thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you contributing. I really do appreciate the contributions too. By the way, guys, I'm almost certain that I'm going to try to get an, a new graphics card sometime in the next 6 to 9 months, and I'm going to get the best one that I can afford to get. There was news that came out this past week that the top of the line NVIDIA RTX 5090 that's currently rumored to be dropping in Q1 2025. There's rumors that that card can cost as much as $2,500, which is a bit of a shock, but on the other hand, it's not that shocking. I have a strong graphics card already. I have a 3080 Ti. EVGA brand, very good card. FTW3. It's an excellent card. But there are limitations. There are things that I cannot play. And at this stage in my life and my career, and my life and my career as a podcaster, a VR podcaster and content creator, I can't have things that I can't play. That bothers me that the best stuff I can't play. Like, I should be streaming Silent Hill 2 Remake right now. That's what I should be doing instead of Visage. I should be doing Silent Hill 2 right now. But I can't. And I didn't try. I don't know this. But I'm pretty much already know that if I try to stream Silent Hill 2, that it's just going to chug and crash. It's too graphically pretty not to be extensive. So, yeah. Anyways, Bargosoft, and there's me wincing at $700 for PS5 Pro. Well, here's the thing, man. Like, if you're playing flat games, then maybe that $700 is worth it. I'm gonna have to see it on VR, man. I can't just give them the benefit of the doubt anymore that they're gonna do what the best thing is. Like, well, we have to wait and see. Like, $700 is a lot of money, and PS5 base PS5 is not like base PS4 was, where it was just barely running the VR games. PS5 runs great VR games. So like this console costs almost twice as much. What am I getting for my twice as much? And I'm not talking about hypotheticals. I need results. I need you to tell me something tangible that's proven right now and can be reproduced. Until I get that, I will not be buying a PS5 Pro. Sorry, I'm just trying to read the chat here. AJ plays Silent Hill 2 on his PC and it's worse than yours, I think. Yeah, mine's a little better than AJ's. So AJ got Silent Hill running on his PC, got it running well. I haven't talked to AJ in a while. Not streaming it, just playing it. Well, that is the difference, right? Anyway, the point of all of that was, and I don't know why I keep allowing myself to get sidetracked like this, but the point of all of that is I've got a big purchase coming up. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to afford a $2,500 5090. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm hoping like hell that we're able to pull it off. But that's a lot of money. And it's not that far away. If this thing drops in January, it's it's less than 3 months away to save up technically enough money to buy an old beaten up used car. But still, you can buy a car that runs for $2,500. Um, so I appreciate your donations. That's the moral of the story. I haven't looked at Patreon. I don't know if people have joined or quit. I imagine some people probably have bailed on me since Roots left, but I don't know. I haven't got in there and looked. But I know that I do still have some ride or dies in there that aren't going to cancel, and I very much appreciate you, because if I am able to get the upgrade and cover these games next year that I'm not able to cover this year, it's only going to be because of your support and your ongoing help. So thank you all. Thank you, Smash Fuller, for the donation. Thank you to the patrons, all of which have decided to stay on and stick it out with me. And thank you to everyone who shows up to the shows each and every week and shares them with their friends and family. I appreciate and love every one of you. All right. I think that's about enough time of us burning time here. Why don't we go ahead and get switched over? Again, while I'm away, I'm going to play for you my playthrough earlier today, of Into Black on MetaQuest. I did capture a browser stream of this, so I streamed the game to my browser and then captured that on my PC. Notoriously, all methods of capturing Quest footage from the very dawn of time have had issues with audio sync. So sometimes the game audio doesn't line up perfectly with the actual actions that are taking place in game. So just be mindful of that. Hopefully you can forget about it because it'll be right on. I don't know. But this is a whole hour, 20-minute video. I only expect that you all will get to see about the first 10 minutes or so of it. And then I'll be right back. And after that, if you want to finish watching, you'll have to do so on the Virtual Strangers Patreon page. Anyway, I'm going to go get my headset turned on. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to tell my children good night. And then when I get back, we're going to dive into one of the most highly anticipated horror games of the year for me. So, be right back. I want to thank everybody who's stayed up so late to watch this with me. I want to thank everyone who waited through the long intermission for me to come back. You guys are unbelievable. And all these people that left these donations to help me save up for a next-gen graphics card when they drop in a few months. I appreciate all of you. So, yeah, GameCat Behemoth says definitely play again. Yeah, I will. This is gonna. I can already tell this is one of those games I'm not gonna want to put down. So definitely we'll come back to this one. And if you guys want me to stream it, then I will do so. This has just been one chapter, if I'm not mistaken. When I saw the game had 3 or 4 chapters right up front that you could trigger, I thought, all right, man, we'll do one of these chapters. It'll be 3 hours, and we'll call it a show. Yeah, these chapters are much longer. You forget. You get so used to playing these shorter VR games, you forget how long and extensive some of these flat games can actually be. Pretty incredible. Anyway, I'm going to just do a manual save real quick here to make sure that... oh, it won't let me save. Okay, I guess because I just loaded one. Anyway, I think that's going to be our episode. Again, big thanks to everyone who stayed up, everyone who watched, everyone who donated. We will be back on Tuesday with Game of the Month, rain or shine, whether Eric can make it or not. It's time to get it done, so we'll get it done then. But I have confidence he'll come through. He said that his schedule should allow for it on Tuesday, so we're gonna do it on Tuesday. Um, Again, the Here They live stream will be taking place on Saturday, October 26th, sometime in the late afternoon, early evening Eastern time, which would be mid afternoon Pacific time, and then late night prime time in the UK. We're going to have on not only the creator like we had last year, but we're also going to have on the a number of the members of the dev team. We'll probably be rolling 5, 6, maybe 7 deep on developers doing commentary on the episode. And that should be a lot of awesome fun. So be sure you don't miss that. And with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. We'll see you another day from another game. Bye now. Do and outro.